Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning. Oh, look at a small group today. I have people in the car today too. This is going to be hard for you in the car because we're doing workshop. We're pulling out our pen and our paper. We're doing a workshop. So hopefully you in the car can go back and watch this later because also don't mind this little thing here. I tweaked my neck at the gym today. I was doing uneven push-ups. If you guys know what they are, it's like half your hand is up, half is down. It's on a ball, like a stability ball. So it's a lot of core. And I freaking tweaked my neck and it sucks. I'm sitting there taking a shower and I was like, oh. So I had to go lay on a lacrosse ball right before this. So let's just hope I make it through this. Anyway, good to see some faces on here that I haven't seen in a while. I see Alex. Haven't seen Alex in a while. I got to meet Molly in person yesterday. I'm pretty excited about that. Got to see Angel in person yesterday. We had an awesome rally. So, okay, we're going to talk content. And part of the reason that I'm going to talk this is because I'm really passionate about this, as you probably know. But like one thing that's really kind of sad is that most of the content that I'm seeing nowadays is very, very, very generic. And it's because we've kind of lost our creativity. We've lost our ability to be creative because of the amazing power of AI. So ChatGPT, Gemini are two AI tools that a lot of people are using, and they're fantastic for so many things. But what's happened, and what I knew was going to happen when I very first got into looking at AI back, like in the beginning of the year, was kind of beginning of last year. I kind of got worried about it because I can see it's really easy to see. And yesterday, and this kind of goes hand in hand because I was actually already planning on talking about this. And yesterday, one of our guest speakers at our rally was Phil Stringer. How many of you have ever heard Phil Stringer talk? Okay, he is awesome. He's amazing. The story that he shared yesterday, which I could totally go on about just his story, which is totally unexpected. But basically, Krista changed his entire life with one phone call. So it's like the whole moral of the story is the power of one phone call can change the entire trajectory of someone's life. But anywho, my point is that what I was a little concerned about when all of this went into was AI kind of taking away the humanity of people. Now, how many of you believe in the power of content? Most of you probably built your business on some form of content, whether it be social media content, whether it be presentations, listing presentations, buyer presentations, whether it be scripts, whether it be phone calls, right? Whatever that content form is for you, emails, blogs, whatever, most of you have built your business on some form of content, some sort of relationship, some sort of human connection with another human being, right? And if you haven't, if you built your relationship with, if you built your business on the power of just connecting with an animal, cool. I want to talk to you. That's a niche I haven't gotten into. But most of us, I can say, have. So what happens now when we have AI tools out there, as amazing as they are, when we rely on them to act like a human, all of a sudden, all the humans sound like robots. And things come out on content that's like, as a realtor, I think this. As your local real estate professional, I think this. And we see it all the time. Now, I have compassion because I know how hard it is to write content. I know that we're also really busy and we have a million other things to think about. So sometimes content seems to be the last thing that we want to worry about because we have tools that can make it easier for us. Is that a fair statement? But the problem is that if we kind of let the content side or the human side of content go away, all of a sudden, realtors become a commodity because realtors sound like this. Realtors all sound like each other. So what sets you apart from everybody else is you. It's the only thing. The only thing that sets you apart from everybody else is your story. And the stories that make you who you are, the stories that make you how you got into where you are today, the stories that helped you become who you are in the business, how you help your customers, the problems that you solve. Stories are what sets you apart. And it's the only thing. It's literally the only thing. Every single one of us has a skill set that we can all learn. I can learn to do the same thing that every single one of you do. It's really easy. But what I can't do is I can't be you. I never will, and I don't want to be. I want to be me. I like me. So what I want to do today is I want to take you through an exercise. I have a couple of different ways to help you break through the content block. But what I want to do today is I want to focus on the one piece of content that I think makes the biggest impact. And that is what I call awareness content. How many of you have ever seen my content funnel? Have I ever taught you my content funnel? Some of you have. Okay. Let me pull it up. I don't actually have it in front of me because that's just the deal. So let me pull it up here real quick. So awareness content is essentially where people start to see you. So people see you first when they're scrolling through social media, right? Or they're searching for something. But where people see you, where they kind of run into you is when they're scrolling social media. Let's just pretend we're online. It's online, right? Because the purpose of this is online. Most of you probably know how to have a conversation in person, in real life with someone. So we're going to just talk about online today. So this is where people see you. If you're scrolling through social media, I want everyone to do this right now. Pick up your phone and open up Instagram or Facebook. And put in the chat, tell me what you see. Just tell me what you see. It doesn't have to be detailed. Put it in the chat. What do you see? Just scroll through the first three posts. What do you see?
My friend, Levi Lassick, and then my videographer.
Okay. Okay. I see faces and text on the screen, fitness and health, humor, ads, motivational reels, mushroom coffee, real estate training, inspirational quote, realtor market update. Actually knows how I feel about that. And makeup tutorial. Okay. So we're all going to see something different because that's what we've trained the algorithm to show us. Okay. The algorithm on Meta will show you what you train it to show you. At the same time, your AI tools, your Gemini, your ChatGPT, food recipes. I love it. Jean, do you like food? I'm a foodie too. I love to look at food. Food and travel. Show me that all day, every day. Okay. Instagram videos of people showing decor. Okay. So we all see what we want to see. Okay. Even ads. Ads show you what they think you want to see based off of your history, right? That's the cool thing about ads. So we want to see it. So who else wants to see what you have on your page? Probably other people who like food. Probably other people who like home decor. Probably other people who like makeup tutorials, right? So other people want to see the same things you want to see. And ultimately, if you think about it, is your client avatar, do they have similar interests to you? They usually do. Wendy does. Wendy, they're all Jeepers and Jeep climbers. Okay. So they have similar interests to you. So do you think it would then make sense that your content feeds into what you like to do? Right? So what I want you to do is I want you to grab your pen, piece of paper, and I want you to take a minute. I'm not going to do it too quick, but I want you to take a second and I want you to write down 10 topics that you could talk about all day, every day, without any prompting, any research. If someone gave you a platform to stand in front and talk about this all day, every day, you could just talk. Okay? You could just share everything about it, passion, everything. So I want you to write down 10 topics. Please do that now. And then when you're done, just put a 1 in the chat that you're done. And seeing people start to get there. Monica said she got 5. I bet you have 10. I bet you there's 10. But it's okay. If we get 5, that's good. Does everyone at least have 5? Okay. Nina's got 10. Does anyone want to share what those topics are? Ashley. Oh, and then
So I'll read them really quick for you. So retirement communities, moving to Arizona, do's and don'ts on landscaping in Arizona, skincare, makeup, kid/toddler fun, organizing your home, home decor, architecture, and art.
Nina.
Real estate, plants, garden design, staging, remodeling, interior design, clothes, consignment, cooking, wine and wineries, and travel.
Okay. Anyone else want to share? Okay, I'll share mine with you. How about this? Fitness, books, travel, goals, dreams, small business ownership, growth, money, people, marketing, health, content, longevity, making money, collaborating, mindset choices, freedom, routine, habit, lifestyle, dogs, and discipline. Okay. Anyone else? Angel said food times 10. How many of you had real estate as 80% of your list? 80, no.
Sure, I'm looking at most of mine is buying process, selling process, steps to take, financial breakthroughs, the BRRRR plan for real estate, and then I have just real estate as a whole.
So you guys love talking about real estate in person. Like when you're actually out at dinner, drinks with people, you talk about real estate all the time, buying and selling process. You talk about that. Like that's all you talk about. Cool.
No.
Well, if it is, cool. That's great. But for most people, it's not. For most people, there's a lot more to you than just real estate. Like for me, I just gave you 15 topics and not one of them was real estate. As much as I love real estate, I freaking love real estate. I don't talk about it all the time. So the point is, when you're coming to creating content, what you want to think about is people come to you through what's called the awareness content. So let me show you what this looks like here. So awareness content is this. This is a really small funnel. Here we go. How about this? Awareness. Okay. Awareness is the top of the funnel. So anything that you're doing on social media is awareness, top of the funnel content. Those of you who've put a lot of real estate content, this is going to be fantastic for you when it comes time to learning how to do the engagement and the evaluation content. But what I'm going to challenge you to do is think about the awareness content. People come to you because of who you are as a human being. People come to you because of what stories you can tell, of what you've gone through in life. People come to you because of growth that you've made, right? They don't necessarily come to you because you're in real estate. When people are looking on social media and they're looking, they're not going to just like and follow you because you are a real estate agent, unless they are actually thinking about being a real estate agent. But the only reason that it come across your page in the first place is because they connected with you as a human being. So your content should be a human being content. Let me give you a good example. Sorry, I should have had all this stuff pulled up, but sometimes I run a little tight on Fridays. So this is a story that I share with people. And the reason I share this story is because when I look at the people that came to me, when I look at the comments on this one, I'll show you this one. Here is a really good example of what I call awareness content. Now think of this. Remember, awareness has nothing to do with business. This is not conversion. I'm not trying to tell people about the process of buying and selling a home and my specific solution in my system. I'm not trying to do that right here. What I want to attract my audience. I want to grow. I want people to come in. And this is the secret to organic content. This is the secret to organic marketing. So if you want to stop spending money on ads to try to force people to like you, start creating content that make them want to like you. This is the secret. That's how you get rid of the ads. That's how I cut my ad spend. And I spend $500 a month on ads, and that's it. And that's only remarketing to get the content that people already told me that they like, seen more. So if you can learn the awareness piece of this, I promise you, your content's going to be much more effective. Okay, so here's a story of awareness, okay? Here's a photo, okay? Visual story. There's a photo of me at 22, a photo of me at 42, a couple of years ago. Let's read the story. There are exactly 20 years and a long AF journey between these two photos. Okay, is AI, first of all, is AI ever going to say long AF? Probably not. Okay, will I say that in real life to a human being? Absolutely. I just won't abbreviate AF. Okay, I'll say it out loud. 22-year-old Lynea was wild, insecure, unhealthy, and she thought she was fat. Okay, this person right here, I thought she was fat. Isn't that crazy? She spent her weekends partying, and let's be real, her weeknights too. She was a college failure and held a lot of shame for it. She told herself that one day she would go back to college to become successful. 42-year-old Lynea never went back to college. She stopped partying and she replaced it with healthier activities. She ran marathons and eventually fell in love with weightlifting. Along the way, she gained her confidence and learned you don't need college to be successful. My story is much more in depth than what you read here, but the moral of the story is this. Never give up on yourself. There were many times over the years I wanted to just give up. Leaving toxicity in the pursuit of growth is hard, especially when you're the only one doing it. But today I'm here. I'm my full self, surrounded with the perfect husband, best parents, most wonderful support team, most amazing friends and mentors. And it didn't happen overnight because nothing worth fighting for ever does. How many of you can resonate with a story like that? Every single person on this call can resonate with the story of 20 years ago, who you were and what's happened over time. Positive, negative, there's so much that has happened along the way. So now, what I want you to think about is when you're creating awareness content, the content that are going to make people want to follow you, that are going to make people want to talk to you, you need to tell personal stories. That should literally be the majority of your content. And then we worked our way down the funnel and we learn the strategies behind how to actually tell stories that convert, right? But the way to get awareness, the way to get people to know you, like you, and decide if they're going to trust you is to tell personal stories, because the more vulnerable you are online, the more real you can be in person. I don't know about you, but before I learned how to get really vulnerable and authentic online, I used to have this fear that when people would meet me in person, they wouldn't like me. I know it's weird, but now I don't care. I'm like, you see me? Cool. Yeah. How many of you have met me in person? How many of you think that in person, I'm the exact same person as you see right here? Probably times 10, probably a little bit more energy in person, which is weird. I know. But my point is that when you're creating the content, you want to think about the things that make you who you are. And yes, real estate is what we do, but real estate is not who you are. Like, I do real estate, but real estate is not me. There's way more to me than real estate. So when you can learn the secret to that. So let me give you a prompt to help you learn to tell a personal story. Grab your phone and go to your photos. I want you to look at a photo that is not real estate related, that makes you smile, or actually evokes any emotion. It doesn't have to be happiness. Did you all find one? Find a photo that evokes an emotion, might make you happy. I love this. This is my favorite part of this whole thing. Okay, so now on your paper, I want you to write down couple things, bullet points, right? Where was it? When was it? And who's in it? Where was it? Who was it? And who is in the photo? Okay. Now skip a line, skip a space. And then the next group of questions I want you to answer are, what was happening right before this photo? Was there chaos? Is there more? If there's more than one person in the photo or an animal, was there chaos trying to get people ready, trying to get the photo ready? Tell me what was happening. Was it calm and peaceful? Was it what was it perfect? And what emotions were happening during the photo? Was it making you laugh? Were you getting frustrated, irritated? Like my wedding photos bring up so many emotions. Some of them make me really happy that I'm thinking about all the stuff that I had to do, like right before that photo was taken. I'm like, oh, yeah. So what was happening before the photo? Was there chaos? Was it calm and peaceful? What emotions were running wild during this photo? Okay. And the last little section I want you to answer is this. What happened after the photo? If it was like a family photo, what happened toward the rest of the day? How did the day end? What lessons did you take away from the day? Or from that photo? Okay. Do you have all the answers? How many of you wrote it in the form of like bullet points? Or just a quick list? How many of you wrote it in like complete sentences? I'm always so curious. I love it. You know, I write things in bullet points. I'm a bullet point person. I have fragmented thought, so I am a bullet point person. Okay. So what I want you to know is what you just did is you created the framework of a story. So you just really easily created a framework without me even telling you. Where was it? When was it? Who was in it? That's what's called the setup. That's what's called the context. Okay? It's a setup of the story. The setup in this example that I gave you was right here. There are 20 years and a long AF journey between these two photos. That is the setup, right? The character is Lynea at 22, Lynea at 42. And what's happening, there's a long journey between these two. This is called the before and after format, just so you know. Probably figured that out. Okay, so you just wrote down the setup. So how can you now create the setup in a way that people actually want to read the story? Just add some color to it. Just write the story. 5 days ago, I was with my family, whatever it is, right? Here we were with our family. Here we were on Easter Sunday. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, right? The setup. The second part that you wrote down is called the conflict. What was happening before the photo? Was there chaos? Was it calm and peaceful? What emotions were running wild? The most important piece of a story, the juice of the story, the longest part of your story is going to be the conflict. So when you can learn how to just list out the conflict and then put a little bit of color behind it, that becomes a story. And literally what you're writing right now is going to be content. So I'm going to challenge you at the end of this for all of you to post this photo and the story that you're writing. Because if you're not doing this kind of content and you're struggling with getting engagement or getting people to actually follow you or getting people to actually if you're actually struggling with growth on whether it be Facebook, Instagram, whatever, I'm going to bet it's because you're not putting out stories like this. So let's look at the conflict. The conflict was 22-year-old Lynea versus 42-year-old Lynea. Is that true? Yeah, that's a conflict, right? Here's what she did at 22. Here's who she is at 42. Okay, the setup and the conflict. This is the juice of the story right here. So the last piece that you wrote, what happened after, how did it get to the end of the day, how'd the end of the day go? That's called the resolution. So the story framework is setup, conflict, resolution. And the resolution in the story that I told you was never give up on yourself. Right? It doesn't have to be anything profound. It doesn't have to be. It can literally just be and at the end of the day, I looked back and I thought, what an amazing day. I got to spend it all with my family. That can literally be the resolution to a story. Does this help everybody? I hope. And thinking about content, so I want you to know there is nothing wrong with talking about real estate, but if that is the only thing that you're talking about and you're struggling with understanding why you're not actually getting conversions from social media, that's the reason. People don't trust you. Bottom line. The only reason people trust you, the only reason you're here listening to me today is because you guys have read my stories. Because I've told you a lot of my stories. Because you trust me as a human being. If you didn't trust me as a human, you wouldn't be here. Is that true? So that's why people want to buy from you. It's because they trust you. And the only way to get people to trust you is to tell stories. So I encourage you to practice this. If you can take time, I know that again, going back to the whole AI thing, I know it's easier sometimes to just sit there and be like, okay, write me a story about blah, blah, blah. It is. Let's be real. It's so much easier. But every time I do that, I literally just tried using AI for a piece of content the other day and it flopped. But whenever I actually sit and I spend time, how many of you have prospecting blocks on your calendar? How many of you have creation blocks on your calendar? A lot less hands. Cool. This is why I love social prospecting, because your creation blocks should be just as important as your prospecting blocks. Because who are you going to prospect if you don't spend time creating content to attract those people? You're going to prospect cold leads you're spending money on, FSBOs, expireds, circle prospecting. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong. Those tactics do work, but it's a lot more effort for those. Do you agree that when you call somebody who's already like, hey, Jackie, oh my gosh, it's so good to talk to you. I haven't seen you in so long. You like those conversations a lot better than the, oh my gosh, who are you? I had 15 other realtors calling me today. it's a lot more of an impactful, more of an effective conversation. So multiple takeaways from today. First of all, take time to actually write stories. It's really, really, really important. That's why I tell you I do well with organic content, because that is what I do. I make content creation as important as I make calling people. And I'm not talking about just the filming a video, not talking about just this part. That's the execution. I'm talking about the creation, the ideation, the genius that comes from here, the genius that no one else can see. No one else can see what's going on in here. The only person that has access to this is you. So the only way you're going to get that out to people is by taking time to let it come out. So give yourself, I'm going to tell you my system for creating content right now. Every morning for 20 minutes, I have a journal right here. It's an old composition notebook. You guys remember these from like elementary school? Okay. Every single day, I have a question at the top. And I write the question. For example, how can I continue to add to my pipeline? The story, by the way, is going to turn into a story, a teaching story, training story, education story. But I write that at the top, and that's the question that I ask myself. And then I spend 20 minutes and I answer the question. Same thing with content. Give you an idea. That's exactly how I write my content. Here we go. I got one for you right here. Oh, please, let me find it right here. I just posted a book review about integrity by Glenn Stearns. Just posted that. So where did the book review come from? Right here. What did I learn from Integrity by Glenn Stearns is the question. And I answer the question. And if you look at this right here, and you look at the reel I just made, that is literally the exact same thing. You know how easy it was to post that video? Took a second. But it didn't just happen. It wasn't just something I said, okay, I'm just going to do it. So when I'm talking about the creation, like that's the system. It's not that complicated. Write a question down and answer the question every single day. I just gave you at the beginning of this, I had you write down at least 10 topics. Okay. So ask yourself, if you're looking at those topics, right? Like this is like the stuff like food, for example. Okay. I love talking about food. Okay. What are questions that come up when I talk about food? What's your favorite type of food? What have you ever tried this kind of food? Have you ever made this kind of food? Do you like to cook? How do you eat in here? Do you like this restaurant? Do you like that restaurant? Where's your favorite restaurant? So ask yourself a question. What do I love about food? Answer it. The next day, ask yourself, where would I refer people to eat this kind of food? Or what's my favorite restaurant? And that's the planning process of content. It's not that hard. It takes 20 minutes a day. That's it. And I just gave you the framework. So all you got to do is learn how to use it. Like what's the setup? Where was it? When was it? Who's in it? What was the conflict behind it? There's a conflict behind everything, even traveling. There's a conflict behind traveling. As much as I love traveling, there's always conflict when I'm traveling. Always. Do I want to stay in bed? Do I want to get up and go? Conflict. Doesn't have to be major. And there's always a resolution. So I hope that helps you guys thinking about creating your content. If you really, really, really want to get more business organically from social media and you're not taking the time to create, and I'm not talking about filming the content, creating the content, that's your number one reason right there. So shift that, because those of you who said that you don't have creation blocks on your calendar, that's the very first step you should take after this call, is go add creation blocks into your calendar, because that's going to make a big difference. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you so much, and I will see you all next week.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our eXp organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about eXp or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.